Hi guys, Ronnie here and welcome to the workshop. Today I'm going to talk about a piece of equipment that helped my training a lot. Since you ask many training questions, usually on my Strava account, then I would like to talk about this one today. So obviously if you want to race at a high level, then apart from on-bike training, you need to do other things to improve your performance, because just training on the bike won't cut it anymore. So one of the obvious ones is strength training. I've done that extensively over the winter. I've done this to build some muscle mass, to get a higher overall power output, not necessarily a higher specific output, so watts per kilo, as many cyclists are chasing. Reason being, I'm specializing in time trials. If you've been watching some of my videos, then you know that already. And there really it's about aerodynamics and raw power, which I didn't have much previously, particularly not in the previous season, where I went really low with the weight. My power to weight was excellent, but the total power was not that much, particularly for longer durations. So today with my coach Arek, we have specified a different strategy, and it's been working now and working very well indeed, because I've broken all of my previous power records, all-time power records, which is nice. But one thing that I had when I was time training last year, and I noticed it particularly at the nationals, is I have a certain bottleneck when it comes to my performance on the time trial bike, and that is my breathing. You see, most of the time my power output was not limited by what my legs could do, but I was starting to run out of breath earlier, and it didn't happen on the road bike, so I could produce a lot more power. For the past winter, I've been looking at some solutions to solve my breathing problem, and then I found this. It's a little gadget called the Aerofit, which is made in Denmark, like some other parts that I really like. So that's a good sign. This is the box that you get when you order one, and the contents are clearly represented on the packaging. Inside you get a few items. So the packaging is very minimalistic, which is a thing I like. You get the device itself. You get two different mouthpieces. One is designed in a way that you can grip it with your teeth, and one is used without that feature. I tend to use this one for the majority of the time. I prefer that extra security that it gives me. And you get a quick start guide, not really necessary because it's extremely straightforward. And you get a charger cable, which I didn't use because it's a standard micro USB and I have plenty of those laying around. So let's talk a little bit about the device itself. It consists essentially of three parts. The clever bit is located in here. This is the pressure sensor in there with the charging port, tiny battery housed inside there, and this is the unit that connects to your smartphone, to their smartphone app, where you actually perform your training, which is based on different kinds of breathing drills, which I'm going to explain a bit later on. The battery in there might be small, but it lasts extremely long. I've been using mine for around 7 weeks since the first charge, and it's still half of the battery left, so that's pretty amazing. I didn't expect that, to be honest. Obviously there's just this one button there which you use to turn it on and off. When you hold it, it turns off. And then the mechanical part, which is essentially a nozzle with two adjustable valves on there. One controls the resistance of your inhalation, and the other one naturally controls the resistance of your exhalation, and these are marked out by letters and numbers from A to F, 1 and 6. Obviously, the further you go, the diameter or the size of the valve actually reduces, so you get more resistance when breathing in or out. This really is the whole point of breathing training. Essentially, like with other muscles, use resistance to, well, create some kind of input for the muscle to make it stronger. It works exactly the same way with the muscles that you use to breathe and move your diaphragm. So yeah, breathing in and out through a resistance, which you can precisely control and measure. This is the whole principle of the Aerofit. Okay, so let's check out the Aerofit Pro app. Let's dive in. I've turned the device on. We can connect it like this. There it goes. Okay, we have the device connected. Now let's have a look at the app itself. So right up here, there you have the possibility to take a lung test. I've done one recently where I've seen big improvements compared to last one, as I said earlier. Here is also, in case you're doing a preset program, the progress in that will be displayed here. I have my own special training plan, so I'm not using this feature, although it would be nice if I could just upload and program my own training plan in there, but perhaps that will be a later addition. So let's have a look at all the workouts that we have here. So they basically get divided into two groups. So one is a regular breathing drill with different kind of patterns, where you breathe in, breathe out, hold your breath and everything in between. And there are these two called inhale and exhale strength. These are pretty self-explanatory. You set a high amount of resistance for one direction or the other, and then you produce a maximum effort 30 or more times just to make your inhalation and exhalation as strong as possible. Then you can also check your activity. Mine is right here together with my results from the lung tests and my progress over there, the overall training time, etc. So everything, as you would expect, everything can be tracked in here, and these are my individual workouts based on the training plan that I have set. So this is the app itself. For today I have, or this evening should I say, because I've already done some in the morning, I have the square workout preset. So let's have a look at that and how the training looks like with the Aerofit. Okay, so you press and select the program. There it gives you instructions on how to set up the valves on the device. Then you choose your prescribed difficulty level depending on the training plan, and then of course the duration, and that's pretty much it. So let's get going.
Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. Hold.
Following a cycling specific training plan. Actually, I've recently completed the beginner plan, which lasts 4 weeks, and currently I'm in the so-called serious cycling plan because I'm serious. about my training. So this is a 6-week plan, a lot more difficult and a lot more involved, and also I'm seeing results already. So when you first start training with the Aerofit, it's like getting a power meter for your bike. First you need to judge where you're at with your breathing performance, and as I've expected, I perform suboptimally in that regard despite years of training and riding the bike. I think that can be genetic perhaps, so I was expecting some nice gains to be made there, which I did. Basically I've managed to improve my exhaling inhale strength by around 40% in the last 7 weeks, and I've increased my lung capacity from 5.2 to 5.9 liters, which is a good thing. However, I didn't really start with the most intense plans, and this is for the exact same reason that we don't start the hardest workouts on the bike in January. I have my key event which I want to peak for, so that's exactly what my plan is tailored to. Okay, so that's pretty much how the Aerofit works. It's very simple but effective. Some of the workouts, well, to be honest, they're drills. They're not as engaging as riding a bike, of course, but they don't last very long. So you can include them in your daily routine. I have a couple of workouts in the morning and a couple in the evening. It takes around 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes per day in the serious plan. It will probably be more as I progress later on, as I'm trying to peak for my event, as I said, also regarding the breathing training. Now let's have a look at the numbers that I've produced so far on the bike, of course. So my best 1-minute power for last year was 512 watts, which is really not much. And this year, according to the test that I've done a week ago, I've managed to boost it up to 607 watts. Obviously, the added muscle mass greatly improves that power, but also you have to consider the anaerobic type of effort there. That's where the breathing training really helps. The second thing that I've done is a 5-minute test. Again, this was actually pretty good last year already. I did 365 watts as my best power for that duration during the Nationals road race. Now I've done 387, so still over 20 watts of improvement there. 5 minutes is a kind of a range where you need both aerobic and anaerobic capacity to perform there, so here the improvement wasn't as huge, but still it's significant. And then finally it was the 20-minute test, and here I just blew my old numbers away. Last year I'd done 309 watts as my best 20-minute power. Now I did 341, which is a massive improvement. I did this on the road bike, but I've also done a couple of intense workouts already on the time trial bike, and I can certainly confirm that where my old threshold was, those numbers are now my sweet spot, or zone 3 high, zone 3 low, zone 4. So that's definitely an improvement, and I feel a lot more comfortable with breathing during those efforts, even in a super crunched position. So I'm not really losing all that much power and still keeping reasonably aerodynamic. Okay, so this is pretty much all you need to know about the Aerofit. It's not the cheapest item in the world, but I think for the performance gain and for the confidence that it gives me, it's really well worth it. Also, Aerofit have been kind enough to supply me with a test unit after I contacted them. Originally I was planning to buy it, but they were happy to help me out. So yeah, so far I'm very happy with the unit. No real problems there. As I said, very straightforward to use. Now it's just time to dial those numbers up even more. Okay, so I hope you have found this interesting and useful. If you want to know more about my training, the equipment that I use, and also my bikes, then don't forget to tune into my channel later on and subscribe. Thanks for watching and see you next time.